Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. For this one, I am going to be drawing a bunny rabbit, starting off very lightly with a regular pencil, just a number 2 pencil, nothing fancy like a drawing pencil. As always, I have an image in front of me that I'm looking at for a reference. That's going to be really important and make my life easier as I go along. I am going to do this drawing a little bit different and make it a little bit harder on myself because I am going to switch to pen, but I'm going to get the outline of my bunny in just a regular pencil first. Just kind of blocking in the general shape, constantly looking back and forth at my image and where the different lines lay. Angles are going to be really important as you work on these. It's going to help with details too, so make sure you recognize the different angles. Remember, the more details you have, generally speaking, the happier you're going to be with your final project. Never be afraid to edit. It's your drawing, so you got to make it look the way you want it to. And that's also why you always start with a very light drawing. Alright, before I get any further, I'm going to get up and switch out my materials. Excuse my hair, I apologize about this, and it will happen occasionally throughout the video. I have a tendency to hunch over my drawings. I apologize. But at this point, I'm just kind of defining my lines. Now, drawing with a pen is going to be slightly different from a pencil, and the shading will be different as well. So a lot of times for this, I'm going to be using hatching and so occasionally cross-hatching for my values. Of course, that goes into pressure and how hard or soft I'm pushing with my pen. Bunnies tend to have a lot of fur, so as I'm working, I want to get the different values in there. Not overdoing it, but definitely want to showcase some of them. And that's what's going to help bring it to life. Sorry about my hair. I'm going to speed through that a little bit. Since I am using pen, my marks are very important. I can't erase, so I have to be sure of them. It's just this different style of drawing. Make sure as you draw, your lines follow the object. So if your object curves, you want your lines to as well. As you work, or as you watch this, I should say, you'll notice that I pause periodically and look at my drawing. It's always smart to check on your progress and just maybe take a step back or a pause and see what you want to work on as you're continuing. That's going to help both your drawing and you see anything that needs to be worked on a little bit more. Focusing on the values within the ear right now. Getting some darker values within the ear right now. Remember, it's folded over a bit, so it's going to be darker, especially right along that edge. And just hatching with my lines. So all of this is very light, and my lines are extremely close together as I work. And the darkness is going to just depend on how hard I'm pressing. So those really light values, I'm barely letting my pen touch the page. And if you wanted some motion marks, you definitely can create them. And animals are always going to have fur maybe going in different directions, depending on the animal. Constantly looking back and forth to my image so I can see where my different values are. That's what's going to help make it real. At this point, I'm going to start working a little bit on the face and in the eye. Now remember, animal eyes are different from human eyes in the sense that, generally speaking, they're much darker. So the light's going to reflect off them and get shiny in a little bit of a different way than a human eye does. So you have to really focus in on where the light's hitting your animal and your image and where your dark spots are. I'll probably have to go back and make that a little bit darker, but I'm going to leave it for now and start working on the face. With fur, and especially with fur in a face for an animal, all the different angles and the different layers of fur, if you include those in your drawing, that's going to help make it look even more realistic. You do have to be careful though that you don't do too many and make it look visually busy. You gotta kind of find that happy medium. But having those different lines and the different angles is going to help make your animal pop and look a little more realistic as you're working. Just like the values will. And that's not just in the face, that's going to be all throughout the body. Fur is a lot of lines. So hatching is really good technique to use for this. But if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But I like the look of it, so I'm going to try it out. And making sure we're getting darker underneath the neck. Those values to help establish that three-dimensional shape of your animal. Now remember, this is a little bit different style. And if it doesn't work for you and you don't like this style, that's okay. Everybody draws differently. You have to figure out what works for you and what you like. Alright, I am going to start working on the face. Now remember, if your animal has fur, or not fur, excuse me, if your animal has whiskers, which it probably does if it has fur, it's extremely important that those lines are made with a lot of confidence. You want those marks to be very straight and with no hesitation. So get your values in there, and you just gotta commit. I'm gonna add a couple extras. Oh, not super happy with that one. But for the most part, we have a bunny rabbit. I'm gonna go in and add maybe a few extra values and lines here, since I got a minute. You have to decide when you're done and when you're happy. If you did use pen, you can always go in and erase any extra lines, any pencil marks you still see. And that will about do it. Thanks for watching.